So fair heads up, we are starting in on a conversation you might not want little ones to listen in on. So now's your chance to scoot them out of the room. It's a topic, though, that many couples worry about, struggle with, how to find balance in the bedroom. We're sharing expert advice to help you fix an intimacy imbalance. Joining me is Laura Brotherson, a respected author, marriage and family counselor, also a sex therapist as well. Thank you for being here.
Hi, Brooke.
No one can tackle these topics as appropriately, as sensitively as you can, so we're grateful for that. You work with a lot of couples. I have to ask, how common is this issue of an intimacy imbalance?
It's a big issue because both people want to have their needs met, and it's tough to get your needs met when they're kind of opposite needs almost. And so it's a big issue for couples to both feel loved.
Let's break it down by gender if we can, just for the sake of this conversation. I'm not trying to imply stereotypes of any kinds, but what's the biggest complaint you hear from wives, from women?
So women tend to be more emotionally wired, spiritually wired also, and so we're looking for things that are kind of more emotionally based, like just being tender with the children, being patient, being trustworthy, being responsive to my needs. These are all kind of emotional issues, whereas men, they're kind of the opposite. They tend to be more physical based, sexual based, and so those are two very different needs and very different default ways of thinking. So there's a lot of work in there.
Can you take us inside the therapy office? What's an exact phrase then, with those needs in mind, that you hear women say, my husband, fill in the blank, in relation to an intimacy imbalance? My husband what?
My husband feels like we never have enough sex. Is the simplest
And he says, my wife?
Well, and then she will say, I feel like you are always too busy, or you're always on your phone, or you're not paying attention, or you're cranky with the kids, or you're all these other, you don't help out around the house enough. So it's just these two very different ways that men and women feel loved. And the key thing to think about that a lot of men don't realize, and women too, is that men have testosterone to kind of wire them towards physical sexual intimacy. Women have relationship. That's their testosterone. So when that relationship's not good, we've got a built-in imbalance.
So is this a needs versus like a his needs versus her needs situation, or is the root goal, something else entirely?
Yeah, I mean, obviously we need to both have our needs met, because if we don't, there is a vulnerability that gets created in the marriage. There's a weakness that gets created. But the goal really is, I don't want anyone to leave here thinking, okay, I just need to change some behavior. I want heart changes. Heart changes where I want to meet my spouse's needs. He wants to meet my needs, and so it's more of a feeling thing than just a behavior thing.
You're talking about a sincere desire.
Yes, the number one thing that men say, I just want her to want me. And then women will say, I just want him to want to. I don't want him to be kind or patient or cute with the kids because I need him to, or because he might get lucky tonight. I want him to want to because he just wants to be a cute dad. You
mentioned that his needs, the husband's needs, tend to be more physical. So what steps then, Laura, can women take to address those needs with the right desire in mind?
Yes, so they need to kind of have in mind that I need to develop this want to, not that I need to.
Okay.
Because nobody wants duty sex, nobody wants duty love. And so if a woman if she can develop her sexuality, this is chapter 1 of my book. If women can develop their sexual identity and embrace that as, I'm a sexual being and I enjoy sex for my sake, not just something I do for my husband, that's key. So they've got to develop that sexuality, and they've got to make that a priority.
Her needs are emotional, so what do husbands need to know about that?
So a husband now, so like I'm thinking of one couple where, he's kind of mad because he's not getting credit for all of these really great things he's doing. He's just not doing the most important things for her, which is to rebuild trust, because there's been some infidelity or a sexual addiction. And so he's got to work on whatever her top things are that make her feel loved. And that's actually my first homework assignment for people is, when you leave here, go write a list of 10 specific things that make you feel loved, and rate them as, this is an 8, this is a 6, this is a 4, so that people know if you and I are busy and I can only do 2 of those items on that list, I want to know what the top 2 are.
And these are tangible to-dos around the house in some cases, or what?
Yes, but they might also be, in my case, it would be remember to get up and kiss kiss my husband when he gets home from work, cuddle with him more at night. I mean, my whole journey is this, where I found out my husband feels loved when we're intimate and when I enjoy intimacy. But if I hadn't taken on that task of learning to get good at that, then we would have a not great marriage.
Is there anything we need to let go of when we close that bedroom door?
Yeah, I mean, we need to let go of everything. Women are the World Wide Web, so we're thinking about 15 things at all times.
Yes,
so we've got to close all those down. But something that I think is important for your topic is that a lot of times when couples can't get to the heart change, they probably need to do another piece of homework, an assignment of writing out 50 things that they're angry, frustrated, resentful about.
Kind of a purge of sorts?
From the whole relationship, from the whole marriage. And you kind of need to do this sort of on an ongoing basis, because we can't get to your heart if you don't give yourself a chance to process, burn, shred, get rid of that list.
Because that feels kind of negative, but you say that will uncover the right feeling.
Yes, and you're not sharing it. You're processing it because you feel it, whether you want to acknowledge that or not.
Yeah.
We've got to get rid of those feelings, or you can't be genuinely present sexually.
You're so good at what you do. I know this is just a short conversation. We just hit the tip of the iceberg, as they say. More in your book. Where can we get our hands on that?
StrengtheningMarriage.com, and we've just opened our new counseling practice in Provo, the Marital Intimacy Institute. So we're just so excited to be able to shine a light on this important topic.
You're doing great things, and we're glad to have you close. So thank you for stopping by today.